So we open up first at Homestead on the Urson Islands, and Kolgrim sitting in the tavern where it's been a couple of months since his crazy run-in with the dwarf Denen and his interaction with dark magic. And he's pretty much just been living life as he normally does on the islands.
To the fullest. Oh, yeah!
It was good.
It's long enough to be a distant memory. It's kind of a little shaky because it's kind of been accurate to the last time we recorded as well.
Yeah, I think it's been... God, I think that was in, like, August.
October or something like that.
October.
Yeah.
Jesus, are you
August.
serious?
Yeah,
it's been a while.
Yeah, we did it a while ago.
Because we did it way back.
Yeah. So everything is normal on the islands. Your spiritual connection with Yor is as strong as ever until a messenger shows up with the letter which Denen spoke of and whisks you away onto a boat. Similar things happen across the ocean in Halen Way with Maolog. You have been living sort of a life of solitude for the past month or so. You have been staying in a small shack in this little fishing community, basically working to earn your keep, kind of similar to how you lived your life in the Temple of Hun-He. And really,
so this is post-ship.
Yeah,
I've been dropped off at a place that is a small fishing village.
Yeah. It's north of Halen Way, a considerable way. You're still trying to fight off sort of the emotional effects of basically watching your entire, like, mid-childhood to adult life being destroyed and burned down around you. But
so I meditate a whole bunch.
Yeah. It doesn't take long that you also receive sort of a messenger from Denen, and he says that the time has come for you guys to work together once more, and you get on your boat, and you're on your way as well.
Oh, so I have a boat?
No. He came.
I want
and
to be
picked
very
you up.
clear here.
He came and picked you up.
Oh, okay. So Dormammu came and picked me up.
No, a messenger
One of his
representing
compatriots.
Denen. Yeah.
So he's big enough to have a compatriot who has a boat to come get me specifically and bring me to the place.
Right. Surprisingly, none of you in your campaigns really inquired as to who Denen was and, like, what he does and how he knows what he does. You just sort of went with it.
I wasn't exactly in a position to ask him anything.
No,
yeah,
you
he
were.
just saved a bunch of the only thing that was most sacred to my people.
Yeah,
I do
pretty
believe
much.
that he had a nice hammer.
Yes, he did have a nice hammer.
I listened to the first episode. I'm well aware that you thought he had a nice hammer.
It was a nice hammer.
I think that was
Dude,
a
I made a
but I'm not
quality denim joke. It was a good goof, dude.
And actually,
we all heard it.
Bingle Beastfoot.
Oh yeah, tell me about him.
You were actually in prison for a small amount of time. When it was discovered that so Denen left you and actually went north to Halen Way, unbeknownst to you, where he met Maolog. It was discovered that when the officials showed up to kind of investigate the situation in the Caden Mountain Range, there were some rangers who passed. There was a man who was caught, after stealing something from one of the lumber lords of Breakwater. And it was also revealed that you shot one of your compatriots.
Right in the shoulder, huh?
Right in the shoulder, yeah. So you were imprisoned in Breakwater for about the spell of about 2 months.
2 months for shooting him in the shoulder?
Well, it was going to be indefinite, because you're just this little gnome ranger who failed in the line of duty.
How big is your bow?
How big is
enough,
it?
Baby.
Yeah,
big enough.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, shit. How do you even shoot anything?
Yeah, what? Your bow has to be like the size of a fucking coffee mug.
It's custom made.
Wait,
he's got very
you
strong.
could have
he's got
a
very
long
strong
bow,
back muscles,
and so it would just be a 3-foot long bow that's literally as tall as him and drags behind him as he walks. which is a way better mental picture.
Yeah, I do.
It
Actually
folds.
if you actually look at my character sheet, I do indeed have
His arrows are as tall as he is.
Yeah.
100%.
So
They're little spears.
Your-
He's just got spears.
your
I have a short bow.
Your
Oh, damn.
imprisonment ended when your bail was posted, and a figure also representing Denen the dwarf, who you knew would approach you someday, to take you away from the Caden Mountain Range and from the woods of the Breakwater, and he also took you on a ship. Now, I would like this is you.
Bingle's
You were
never
taken
been on a ship before.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird experience for you. You've never really left sort of like a 30-mile radius of where you grew up, so this is new adventures for you. So the three of you, now, a couple of weeks later, because you spent a considerable amount of time on these transport vessels, you find yourselves on the Kinsgrove Flotilla. Now, a flotilla is, as you all know, actually maybe except for Bingle, you kind of have no idea what's going on.
I don't know what a flotilla is.
No, but Kolgrim and Maolog would know that the flotillas are the ship cities that the elves use. Elves have been banished from owning sort of any kind of land of their own, and have stuck to the ocean and formed these little micro cities by stringing a couple of ships together.
Are they chained, or are they just like?
They're connected by ropes and
Okay.
Even like they're permanently
What are
affixed.
what are the elven ships like? Do they look like almost like they're grown, or is it just like really high quality wooden ships?
It's the best quality ships.
Okay.
So a bit of history that you guys would know. So the elves were somehow, through some historical event that you don't know the details of, were banished from their lands, which they destroyed, and have been living their lives on the oceans. And if
So a question.
yeah,
Real quick. The lands they destroyed, it's not on the map that we've already
well,
seen.
if you look,
right?
if you study the
It's the-
map, you would see there's one spot that looks
down
like
the
it's
very
particularly
southernmost part.
fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they've been living their lives on the oceans, and they form these little cities by stringing big boats together. So you're on the Kinsgrove Flotilla, which is comprised of 4 ships. There is 2 large ships of a similar design. One, which you're explained, contains, it's sort of the captain's quarters, the captain's ship. There's also a few small offices for the other officers who kind of live and administer this city ship situation. There's a ship where the crew and other civilians live. There's sort of this large circular-shaped ship where there's a mess hall and a supply store and a blacksmith and armory. It's also where, just in general, all of the living supplies are.
So it's like an elvish oil station, but
Yeah.
a city.
Yeah, more or less. And then there is a ship where sort of more living essentials are kept. And in this case, some construction materials are kept. You're given sort of this rudimentary tour individually as you arrive to the Kinsgrove Flotilla. And
Quick question.
Yep.
Everything's made of wood.
Everything is
Right.
made of wood, yeah. There is some metal worked in there. The ships are attached by chain and sort of reinforced in certain areas
Is there any
with metal plating.
easily discernible, magical property or use in the flotilla?
Oh, you could do. I don't know if you have the ability to do an Arcana check. You don't have the ability to detect any magic yourself, but
Okay, I was wondering if there's something like obvious, like one of the ships is like half floating, or like
oh no,
there's glowing green shit or something. I don't know.
nope.
And are the majority of the people, like, is it all elves or are there other races as well? I know, like, Denen has an office here, but is it weird that he's the only dwarf on a...
That's actually a pretty good observation, because two things in particular stick out in this scenario. For one, there is a mix of almost every race. You see other dwarves, similarly dressed to Denen. There are humans kind of working their way through the ships and getting ready for something. And also in the center of this flotilla, it seems that they've been constructing a ship. The ship that you see is being built is unlike any ship you've seen before. It's, first of all, it's absolutely massive. It's about 200 feet in length. Actually, I don't know if 200 feet's impressive.
Where
for
is
a
this
ship.
taking place in this?
Oh, where are you in the world?
No.
Where's this massive
It's,
boat?
it's in
area.
the center of the flotilla.
Oh, it's the
Like, the
okay,
flotilla is
that's the
almost
giant
built around it.
Right.
Okay, so this is the ship that's being built. This crazy big one.
Yeah.
Is this one?
It's
Okay,
being
this
built
is- got it.
in the center of the flotilla, and it actually somebody roll me a history check.
I think I've got decent history.
Where is... my history
Nope,
shit,
I
but
got-
I'll roll.
Yeah, I got nothing. I got one. Ooh,
You gotta
I
go
got
on.
17. Look at me.
wow, you're so smart.
I'm the smartest heathen alive.
So Kolgrim,
Yeah.
you actually remember the ship in its design. They slightly resemble that. It's very reminiscent of Denen's ship that you saw, which, as you remember, was this kind of long, black wood, sleek ship. So this ship that you see that they're building, it has a very thick frame, a very thick hull. It has this almost pointed metal front to it, as if it were to be like an icebreaker or something like that, exploring sort of the northern part of the world. And it also has these two very large, sort of windmill-esque turbines towards the back. It's a ship you've never seen anything like it. And they've been building it for quite some time. It would seem, as there's scaffolding and some permanent, platforms that are all around it. They've been working on the ship for quite some time, and it looks like they are fairly close to its completion. So you all arrive on the same day and are kind of given the same similar tour, never really running into each other, but you are sort of all individually, one by one, brought into this one office suite, which you are told Denen will be joining you soon, but you are now in a room with each other for the first time.
Dope.
Yeah, I'm just sort of standing there looking around me because I didn't
Yeah.
even know things could float.
What's all in the room?
Yeah, so in the room, there's sort of a large wooden table in the center. Behind that is sort of this large, very comfortable-looking ornamental chair with some chests behind it. There's sort of a large world map on the wall, and there are 3 chairs on the other side of that table, all laid out for the 3 of you.
Bingle immediately wants to sit in that comfortable chair.
So you're sitting in the comfortable chair.
Yeah, I want to sit in the comfortable chair, and like my legs won't even. Reach
Yeah,
the
they're not.
end
They're
of
just kind of dangling there.
They're not even dangling. They don't even reach the end of the cushion, I imagine.
Yeah. You're just sort of. Well, it is made for you.
It's
can
made for a dwarf.
Yeah, you can kind of size it up. It's made for a dwarf. So
Oh, so it's made for him. So that's why he sits there.
yeah,
Correct.
right. Right, so you're sitting
It's
there.
made for Bingle because he's a dwarf.
What about Maolog and Kolgrim? Are you guys...
I would like to check out the map.
Oh, so you're just going to observe the map?
Yeah, I want to. Is the location that we're at marked on the map at any place?
No.
Okay.
No.
I am going to meditate with my back to a wall, facing the door.
Okay, so you.
I'm literally avoiding talking to anyone because I don't know what the fuck is going on.
Okay, so none of you have.
And I'm
none of you have
emotionally
opted
distraught.
to sit in the chairs.
Also,
I mean, wait, is there
also-
somebody waiting in the?
No, it's just the three of you in this room. But you were told Denen would be joining you shortly.
Just to paint a word picture for what Bingle is doing. He's sitting in his chair. He's just sort of kicking his legs up and down, and he's just sort of looking around back and forth at each of the guys. He's just like a little child, right?
For the most part, an 18-year-old child.
And my guy is getting used to the fact that he's on a boat because he doesn't do that very often.
Yeah, the last time you were on a boat was when you were brought to Halen Way for the first time. Well, and you guys all just spent a considerable amount of time. It was a couple of weeks' journey to get just where you were.
Right.
So you kind of got there. And
Bingle just immediately bursts out. So I was in prison for 2 months.
I'm going to ignore him and continue meditating.
It was not fun. The food was not favorable.
I'm going to keep meditating.
Why were you in prison?
I am not at liberty to discuss this information.
I go back to looking at the map.
I shot a cop. It was an accident. I didn't mean to do it. I got scared. It wasn't my fault. And now, you know what? I'm just happy to be breathing that fresh air again.
God fucking damn it.
So after
I'm going to keep meditating.
After a couple additional minutes of awkward silence after that discussion,
Of him going over his rap sheet.
a familiar sight enters in through the room. The dwarf Denen kind of bursts through the doors and observes the scene at which he sees. He sees Kolgrim, observing the map. Maolog's over in the corner, sort of meditating, and then Bingle in his chair. So he is going to sort of
meditating.
in
his
At
own
this point, he's
special way.
trying to
Trying to
do what
copy.
he's doing. Yeah.
right. So he
Bingle.
enters the room and says, "Gentlemen, it's good to see you all again. I hope your journeys were well."
Yep.
I've just assumed Bingle's going to talk.
Great. Please take a seat, and Bingle, if you could sit with your new team members, that would be appropriate.
Team members. I like to be able to talk to team members. These don't seem like team members to me.
Well, you'll all have plenty of time to get to know one another.
Bingle
so
walks over and sits over in one of the chairs.
Yeah, he motions for you guys to take a seat.
All right, I immediately sit in the chair and I guess Denen, what's going on? Why have we been brought here?
Well, I've chosen the three of you for a very important mission. You all stood with me at different times and helped me fight against dark magic that you now well know threatens the peace and sanctity of all of our lands. And each of you showed a strength and merit and character that I think will help us in these dark days to come. So he kind of stands and turns around and motions over towards the world map.
I'm very intimate with at this point.
Yes. So he puts his gloved hand on the small island of Lubeck. Kolgrim, why don't you roll me a history check?
Okay.
history. Where are you, my friend? Here you go.
Oh, look at that! I got a 20.
God damn,
Me and my +1 int giving me
Do you
all
have a
them
PhD?
history.
Jesus.
So you know that the island of Lubeck is sort of a trade port that is used to connect the lands in the west to the lands in the east, for trade. It's sort of ideally situated in between both continents, and tradespeople often stop at the island because it's the perfect distance to optimize like the amount of supplies you need to keep on a ship for yourself versus the amount of supplies that you can transport.
Are they
it's a good reason. Yeah.
Are they like one of the big like trade partners to Homestead, or how familiar would I be with what was going on with Lubeck based on where I come from?
Pretty much everything
passes through Lubeck at some point.
Yeah, so trading, like ships that would be arriving to the Urson Islands would often be coming from Lubeck, if not from Warrenport in the north or Havencore in the south. It would be coming from Lubeck, so you're quite familiar with the island.
Okay.
So Denen kind of, motions towards the island of Lubeck, and says, "This island, we're about a half a day's sail from this location. Something terrible has happened here. There's an unnatural storm that covers the island. Heavy winds, a thick, dense fog, and most notoriously, no ship has come from Lubeck or entered Lubeck and returned to tell the tale in quite some time. I was there, not too many months ago after I met Kolgrim here for the first time, but no one has come and gone since. Nothing I saw gave me any concern, but something clearly terrible has happened here. Our mission is to enter the island of Lubeck, figure out if there is dark magic and dark forces at work, stop them if we can, and help the people of the island." So he's gonna
Bingle just says, he just goes, "Why?"
Why? Why? Because wherever dark magic goes, it seeds chaos and takes lives.
But aren't there people that do that, take care of that?
We are those people. You are those people.
Bingle just kind of smiles and looks back and forth at the other two guys.
I am looking increasingly nervous with the fact that Bingle is apparently my teammate.
So he is going to start going through his stuff and actually pulls out a map of Lubeck. He says, "So this is the island itself. Our port that we hope to weigh anchor in is Morin Harbor. There is a gentleman there by the name of Captain Bear, the head of the guard. We'll be meeting with him to get a situation report. Our goal is to help secure the people of Morin Harbor and the city to the north of Severin. And once we, have uncovered what has been happening on the other side of the storm for the past couple of months, weeks rather, we can make our way and try to discover its source, if any knowledge can be gained from the locals." So he's going to kind of walk over to the doorway out and sort of motion for you guys to follow him.
Yeah, I hop off my chair and just sort of follow him.
So you're now overlooking the ship that is being constructed. This ship is called the Forests of Arcadia. It mirrors the design of my own ship and is designed for speed in travel. And we think we have created a vessel that can penetrate the storm as safely as possible. We'll be carrying with us 25 civilians who are doctors and experts in treating injuries and wounds, as well as supplies. The city of Lubeck has been, or the island of Lubeck has been cut off from all communication from what we can tell from the outside world for a number of weeks. Their supplies may be low. We're bringing as much as we can to help the people, and as much as we can hold to help us combat whatever dark magic may be facing us on this island. And the four of you return to his office, and he takes a seat. And he says, "So, our task is going to be difficult. The four of us will be working intently together to help secure the people of Morin Harbor, and then make our way to whatever logical spot to seek out any dark magic or the cause of the storm. But our goal is to save lives. Do you have any questions?"
How long will it take to get there?
It'll take the ship will be completed within a day or so, and it is a short sail out to the island itself. From there, we should be all in all there in about 3 days.
Okay, and then I would like to say, does this, or, okay, how do I want to phrase this? Are we going to be fighting any more of this? And then I'm going to pull out the vial of the purple goo, and I'm going to put it on top of the map on the table.
So you pull out a small vial of a bright, glowing liquid. It glows purple in your hand. And Kolgrim and Bingle, you recognize this as similar to sort of the taint of dark magic that you experienced when you met Denen for the first time. And Denen's eyes grow wide. Where did you get this?
I collected this from the body of of Darduk in the vault of the Order of Hunhi.
He's gonna snatch it up. He's gonna take it from you.
Fine with me.
Okay, he's gonna place it in a small lockbox, similar to where he kept the maps of like Lubeck and some other personal effects. He says, This material is dangerous things to be meddling with. You've risked much even just to put it in a vial. Do not make that mistake again.
Bingle's like, he sort of looks a little confused, and he's sort of rubbing the back of his head because he's remembering when he like sort of passed out and had some weird ass trip, and he asks, "Is that the same stuff that was in that cave?"
It
that
is.
Time?
It
Okay.
is. This is dark magic in its tangible physical form. It often takes the form of a black-purple ooze. It's been known to also manifest in the form of tentacles, which I think many of you have experienced up to this point, which can be quite violent, especially in numbers. This is magic unlike any. It offers great power, but consumes the soul, and often does when those who are not prepared for it, and he kind of shoots you an eye, Maolog, dive into it. He's not. You can tell he's not very happy.
I sort of lean over to Maolog and I go, I think you fucked up a little, bud.
Okay.
Any further?
I've had.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I've had this. So, I've had this vial since we left, and nothing's ever happened.
But the risk you took in even trying to handle it yourself put not only you in danger, but everybody on the ship.
Well,
it was reckless.
Maybe someone should have told me a little bit more about this shit.
You never asked. He sort of turns around. He says, but enough of this. Are there any further questions about our mission?
What can we do to help prepare?
The ship will be complete in about a day. We have supplies on the ship. We have supplies here on the flotilla. If you need anything to prepare, you can visit the quartermaster, and then basically prepare yourself and get a good night's sleep, because tomorrow we shall be taking sail. It's early morning. You arrived in the early morning, and you pretty much have the day to walk about the ship, gather any supplies you need, collect any information you might be looking for, and go on your way.
You said that Denen is who he sent someone to post my bail, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Bingle is it took him a second to sort of realize, and now he sort of is looking at this as kind of an extension of his duty from when he got sent to be a guard.
Okay.
He just assumes this is what he has to do next.
Sure. So Denen will motion for you guys to leave. The three of you can pretty much do whatever you want. You have free walk of the ship to go and get any supplies you think you might need. You can sort of get ready to, basically time hop to when we're on the ship,
Gotcha.
or do whatever you want to do.
I'll just spend my time kind of exploring the ship. I can't read Elvish, but I can speak it, so I figure if there's any elves around, I'll just kind of like brush up on that a little bit, talk to them, kind of just, I guess, learn more, because this is the first time I've been out of Homestead. I'm just trying to take in as much as I can.
Okay. Bingle, are you gonna do anything?
Bingle is just sort of, he's doing a very similar thing. He's kind of I don't want to say overwhelmed, because he's got a mind like a sponge, so he's just sort of trying to absorb everything, but at the same time he wants to see everything. So he's basically really giddy, walking really fast around, just trying to look at everything, awkwardly trying to talk to people about nothing in particular.
The embodiment of ADD.
Yeah, essentially. And he's telling them about that he was in prison. And
so you'll
get in prison.
And that Denen bailed him out, and that he's going on an adventure. And that he's a dwarf. He keeps saying that he's a dwarf.
How old is Bingle?
Bingle is 18.
Okay.
And then I'd like to Bingle is also he is curious about the two people that he's going to be going on this adventure with. So if he runs into any of them, he's definitely going to try and have a chat with one of them.
Oh yeah, I mean this particular flotilla is 4-ship large, so you're definitely going to be
run into
seeing.
people.
And I think the quarters that you're shown where you'll be sleeping for the night is in the large general quarters for everybody on the ship. So you're not only going to be near each other, but you're also going to be near everybody else who's either working on the ship or going to be boarding the forests of Arcadia to go on to Lubeck.
Okay. Well, Bingle wants to tell. I assume he's going to run into both of our the fellow adventurers here, and he's going to. I want to just tell them the whole background. So he wants to explain that he's a dwarf and that he lived in the forest, that he can speak to small animals and he likes to do that, and that he's a very proud dwarf, and that his dad taught him all these things. I just want to basically. He's very open about his life, and I want them to know.
I am going to be not engaging Bingle quite yet, if I can help it. I'm going to go to the armory. I want to see if they've got any monk weapons. Because I'm going to be preparing to beat someone's ass open and get some more pink stuff.
Okay. So you approach the quartermaster, who is an elf, and his name is
Bingo!
I was thinking that literally the whole time. God damn it.
His name is fuck, that's not a good. Wow. My first fucking name, like off
Reginald?
off the nothing. No, Reginald's already in it later on. Just
yeah.
off the cuff, and I totally drop it here.
Rigsby.
George Constantinitis.
The quartermaster, Rigsby, is behind the counter of sort of the supply store, and he sees you come up and approach, and is kind of tapping his fingers on the desk. How can I help you?
Hi, I'm hoping to look through your goods and see if I can find a suitable monk weapon to take on the journey to Lubeck.
This is no common store. This is an official armory. You tell me what you need, and I'll see if I have something. He kind of starts. He's got this like little wispy chin hair, and he's just gonna start lightly stroking it.
Well, my goal is to find just something as simple as a quarterstaff that can be used for, various things while walking and exploring, and can also be used as a weapon. So something not particularly rough, but sturdy. Something that can inflict a lot of damage at a little bit of range.
Okay, so he goes off into his sort of the back room, and he's sort of shifting through things. You can kind of hear like boxes moving around and different things clanging together, and he comes out with with just an average looking quarterstaff, and he says, I understand you're on Denen's team. I don't suppose he would oppose me providing you with some basic supplies, so if all you need is the quarterstaff.
Let me see. You probably know more about Lubeck than I do. What sort of other things would you suggest I bring with me on an adventure like this? What would you typically equip someone with?
Well, let's see. You're going on a potentially dangerous mission into an unknown land. You seem to be a well-capable monk, and now you have a sturdy quarterstaff. What to do? And he kind of goes back in, and he's sort of ruffling around different things. So he comes back out with a adventurer's pack, which comes with a set of like rope, flint, and tinder. I think there's like a bedroll in there. I think that's something you might have already had, though.
It's something that you would have based on your background as well. So like I'd figure I'd have something pretty equivalent that I would have packed ahead of time as well, knowing like I was going to be doing something for somebody else. And I would assume he would have the same thing.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily, because you have a lot more experience than I do with all of this.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
No, Kolgrim, you definitely would have something like that. Bingle wouldn't have anything because he was just in jail.
Right.
And
do I? That's actually a good point. Do I have all my my belongings back though?
I actually So like the basic
so. Like,
the
they
basic
would've taken
ranger
it and then
stuff
given it
that
back.
you had on the mountains, it probably would have been given back to you like as your personal effects.
I'm probably the only one with an actual like a traveler's pack of stuff.
Yeah.
Like prepared and just based on like my
Prepared specifically for the mission.
Yeah, well,
right?
I mean I grew up on a hunter gatherer kind of society, so I would assume it's kind of always be prepared. I'm a good little Boy Scout.
Yeah, so I would say, yeah, you definitely don't have anything like this. So he gives you an adventurer's pack, which basically has all of your basics for like light wilderness survival. Maybe a night under the stars. He also puts up onto the shelf 2 small vials filled with a red liquid, which to be health potions. So you have 2 health potions, which are 2d4 plus 2 when consumed.
Bingle comes sort of panting into the thing because he didn't want to miss out, and he was kind of following Kolgrim.
Well, hello there, young sir. How may I help you?
What? How can I help you?
I work here. I don't think we're hiring at the moment. You're on Denen's team, aren't you?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I am one of his adventurers.
Well, okay. I've just supplied your teammate with enough supplies, I think, for you guys to conduct all sorts of adventure.
I'm gonna at this point gather the things, give a little bow to the shopkeeper, and try and make my way out. While Bingle is at least semi-distracted.
I'm gonna take it upon myself to keep Bingle out of trouble.
Bingle
Big
does
brother,
not fall
little
for
brother.
it. Bingle immediately looks at the new staff, looks at the new staff that you have, and goes, "Oh, that looks nice. Can I see it?"
Sure. It's right here in my hand.
Oh,
and
he goes, and Bingle literally just falls for that, and he literally just tries to grab it.
I kind of just pull it away slightly.
Bingle
and
just
say,
tries.
You said.
Bingle tries to grab it again.
He just keeps trying. So he just keeps.
Give me this.
All
You
right,
said I
so
could see
basically, I keep doing.
I just pick
dance.
Bingle. I just pick Bingle up and I take him over to the quartermaster.
You pick him up?
I can pick him up with one hand. He's a small little boy.
Hey, no one, don't toss a dwarf. Have you never heard this?
I just ignore him and I take him over to the quartermaster and I'm like, sir, can you help my small friend get supplies needed for the mission we're about to embark upon?
We are going on an adventure.
Okay,
I'm dipping, by the way. I have dipped at this point.
Let me see. I don't have any. And he kind of starts going through all of his stuff. The challenge is trying to find something that will fit
the little small man,
a gnome of his stature.
It's just this little gnome, and he's sitting on the counter. And he's just waiting for weapons to be given.
Okay, so he actually,
He's just smiling because
he comes out, and he has with him just a very small handful of things. He has a sack, a very small rut sack, to which he's put a small, just regular dagger, a very short coil of rope, about 10 feet of rope, as well as a couple of dry rations. He goes, this should do quite well. I see you already have quite the impressive bow, and he sort of admires your bow that's strung on your back. And I think a simple dagger will do you well out there in the wilds of Lubeck. And he kind of wiggles his finger a little bit.
At my bow?
At the idea of the wilds of Lubeck. Kind of like in jazz hands, sort of.
Oh. Bingle just sort of Bingle just sort of looks at him for a second, and then after like 3 seconds too long, he just sort of starts slowly trying to do the jazz hands too, because he thinks that's what the guy wants.
So the quartermaster's kind of just tapping his hands on the counter and looking over at Kolgrim like, well, okay, I hope your adventures go well. Good luck.
Just for Sean and Chira, just so you guys know, Bingle was raised by a cult of really fucked up dwarves. So he's literally he has no social skills.
No,
whatsoever.
I very much have gathered this. I am aware.
And Maolog just thinks that you remind him a lot of the beggars on the side of the road that are like not fully there. The ones that come into the monastery that need help and then also sometimes try to murder one of the monks because they're fucking insane. So
right on.
I've gathered that you're a little, 2 nuts short of a full box.
Yeah, okay, he thinks he's a fucking dwarf, dude.
So is there anything else you guys want to do on the flotilla?
I would like. I need. I'm just gonna request like a couple, like throwing spears or javelins or something like that.
I think you actually still have some.
I do, but I want to try and get like 2 more.
Okay. Yeah. So you take. Those are pretty easily provided.
Okay.